every successful entrepreneur I've met has this in common. They did something that didn't make sense until it did. What if the fastest way forward isn't the obvious one? What if the most scalable, fulfilling, and legacy-building moves are hiding in the weeds of the unbeaten path? This is the Secret Sauce Podcast with Chad Treese and Lacey Moores, where we want to help people build big businesses and live big lives. We think every episode's going to maybe give you one ingredient that you can add to your recipe to create your own secret sauce. Let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody. We are talking about the path less traveled this week. I'm excited about this one. It's a little bit not like, hey, this one tactic or this one strategy. It's a little bit more of like a mindset, maybe.
Thought-provoking.
Yeah. But it speaks to me. Like one of my absolute most favorite quotes is Robert Frost from a book, but it's two roads diverged in a wood, and I chose the one less traveled by, and it made all the difference. And that's what we're talking about this week is that typically the people that you're seeing having super high levels of success have taken a different path. Mm-hmm. If you want to take the same path as everybody else, you're probably going to get the same results as everybody else, unless you do it like in a crazy, unique way. Mm-hmm. But typically the best way to do it is to just blaze your own path, right? Take a different path. So I love it. I think we should just jump right into it. We were talking about different stories that we could tell, and there was a famous one that I know spoke to you. So we were talking about the founder of Spanx,
yes.
Sarah Blakely, right?
I love Spanx. Like they're the best thing ever invented. And, this, when we started talking about this, yes, we talked about her, and it's such a good story behind it because she definitely took the road or less traveled, for sure, right? Like, and I didn't even know that it started actually not with shapewear. It started with pantyhose, and that's where she started seeing that here's a problem that people wearing this have. And then she just kept on and she kept on. Her story is actually really cool. Like it's really fascinating on her not taking money from outside people and how she got help and how it turned into shapewear, the best shapewear there is.
And kind of created her own industry. Completely.
And, because it used to be in the past that shapewear was super uncomfortable. I mean, like corsets and stuff like that.
Sure.
And everybody got away from it. But she wanted something that would help but also be comfortable.
And be fashionable too, right?
And be fashionable, yeah. And she is, I own, most people think of Spanx and they think of just, but they have everything now, dresses and like really nice, casual, but also, a lot of my workwear is from Spanx, but it's really good quality. But she just completely blazed this path and did what everybody else said is not going to work. Don't do it.
No one would give her money.
Nobody, no money, and she had to go through and figure it out. In fact, here, I just want to, this part was really, really cool.
All right, while you look this up, this episode is brought to you by Spanx. I'm just kidding. We don't have that kind of money. We don't have that kind of viewership.
Okay, so how she changed the industry, we already talked about that. She disrupted a stale category, so very old-fashioned and uncomfortable. She brought a modern, empowering, body-positive take on this. But it did open and create a new market. She changed branding. And I do remember this when it started coming out. She was direct, funny, relatable. She took away that we needed the models, these beautiful, perfect models.
Right. That nobody could relate to.
Nobody could relate to, yeah. And nobody had done that before. And again, she did it all without any sort of funding. So she was rejected. She was underestimated. And really just out of her depth on paper. But she outworked the system. And she changed it, and thank you, because it's now something that I absolutely love. But just a cool story, to kind of put this in context of why. Like, why did Robert Frost say that it was the best thing he ever did was take the road less traveled?
I just think that's where most people find their fulfillment, because it's like there's not as much joy in just going the same path as everybody else, right? And there's big impact in that. I think there's a ton of reasons too, and we can get into that.
Yep, let's do it.
But I wanted to make this a little bit even more relatable, if you can't relate to Sarah Blakely, who now has a brand worth,
Billions.
Yeah, billions.
Billions.
Okay, how do we relate this to lenders and realtors in our space, or just small business, small single entrepreneurs, right? So you've got a story in this, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, you asked me, when was that moment, and when we were trying to talk about this, and I'll tell you, I was on a phone call with another lender who I'm good friends with. We coached years and years ago together. We were both students together, and just chatting with him and figuring out, how's he doing? And he said, actually, Lise, things are different. I shut down all my office space. He's like, I had an $8,000 a month lease, shut it all down, sent everybody home. Everybody works at home now. I work at home, and I love it. And
This is what he's saying.
Yeah, he said, I love my family. I got more family time. I do everything Zoom and all this stuff. And he's not the first one I've heard. I've heard a lot of people do that. And we already know brokers do that, right? Like
real estate is going that. I mean, so much virtual.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of brokers that are building their whole model on being virtual.
100%. Yeah. And real estate agents have to, they go out in the field so much more. They go out and show, and they, look at houses and stuff like that. Whereas us, like, we have to be, in our computer and working on things consistently. But yeah, he all went home. I sent everybody home, and it works for him, and he loves it. And he's not, like I said, the first person I've heard doing this. And it was in that moment that I said, I'm going to be different, and I'm going to be the last office standing. If it is me, I'm going to hold space still in a professional environment where people can still come in and meet and see that I'm a real human, be belly to belly, to be able to go through the process, really learn their story, understand things. And I love Zoom. I think it was great. It came out, when we needed it the most with COVID and everything, and it's better than a phone call, but
Sure.
It doesn't replace the belly to belly.
It doesn't replace the human experience of
It doesn't.
connection with people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in this part of my career, I love that. I love
Same.
that piece. I don't want it. That's the last thing I want to lose. And so if I have to be the last office, I want to. That's what my different path will be, is I will be still having an office and meeting people and directing them.
We're not going to be the last one standing, I don't think, because I will be...
You're going to outbeat me? Yeah.
Maybe. I'm older, though, so
You
I
are.
could
Yeah.
retire.
So
yeah.
I should win this one.
But I'm 100% with you on making sure that we've got space for people and for our teams too, right?
Absolutely.
Like the collaboration of our having office space for us all to get together. Again, the human experience is connection and personal experiences.
Absolutely.
So I'm with you 100%, but I do think that is our industry is going the hard charging in the opposite direction.
Yep.
And everything's going to automation, and we're like.
And I still like some of those things for sure, but yeah, I definitely want to be there. What about you? What would be your story?
Well, I would say the one that I thought of that hits the most is probably in relation to this podcast. I was thinking about, I still remember like Mondays is when we're supposed to call realtors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like everything's call more realtors, cold call, just everything by phone, just call. And it made me like
You've always hated that.
depressed to
Yep.
think about it. Like I didn't want to go to work anymore. And so I was like, okay, how can I go a different way, but still try to get a similar result? And in a roundabout way, it's how the roadshow version of the podcast was
Born.
Yeah, I was thinking about, okay, like how can I get in front of different agents that I want to connect with on a personal level, that I have something that they're going to want to say yes to, right? And so if I can put them on display, if I can call them up or DM them and say, hey, we've got this podcast, I'd like to put you on a pedestal, basically talk about what makes you great, what your secret sauce is, and ask you some thought-provoking questions, that they would say, that people would want to say yes, they'd want to meet with me. And so I'm hard charging in that direction. I know you are too.
Yeah,
with
it was a brilliant idea, Chad. I just want to talk about that for a second, because when you brought this up and said, hey, this is what I'm thinking, just a brilliant idea for, like, there's so many reasons it's so brilliant. But it was different than everything that we were thinking with the podcast. It was definitely different than what we do, in the mortgage side and how we work on lead gen and spend time in our green time. And it has been fun. Like
So much fun.
It's so much fun. And it's, again, these questions and stuff, like you learn so much more about people. You feel so much more connected with people. You get to hear their story more and what makes them who they are versus
a means to an end.
Yeah. Like versus, hey, how was your weekend? Did you have any open house? Like,
how can I get a referral from you?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Then it was always, I had to come up with some reason to call so I could try to get something from them instead of just giving, giving them a space, giving them opportunity to
share.
Yeah.
Tell their story.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've loved it. It gives me a lot of energy. And so that's my best example, I think, right now.
It's a great example of blazing your own path for sure.
So let's talk about a few reasons why somebody should do this. I just came up with 3. I didn't want to, I think, we can make this, pretty quick episode.
Yeah.
But differentiation creates demand, right? So you got to zig, one other zag. I would say, it's an action, identify one area where you've been blending in your industry, and then try to figure out, how do I stand out? How do I make this different? You got to create differentiation. And the best way to do that is to take a different path, right?
Okay, hold on. Let's stop on that for a second. Let's
talk about...
Trying to keep
this short and sweet.
I know, but that's really, really good. And you're going to have to go listen to our other couple podcasts that we filmed. But, we talked a lot about doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. So let's say if I'm a real estate agent and I'm posting the same things, or a lender, we talked about lenders and real estate agents always post, just sold, just closed another home.
Just listed.
Listed, the same, are you blending in here? So your one question just says, identify an area where you're blending in and figure out how to not blend in anymore. That's so easy. Instantly, I'm thinking of 2 or 3 things that I do constantly that I blend in. So great tactic.
A great way to do it is through storytelling. We did an episode on that. We'll put it in the show notes.
Yes.
Yeah, so definitely check that out. All right, number 2, innovation lives in isolation. Breakthroughs come from original thinking. So rebuild one normal process from scratch. And this is something you're already doing. How do I just tear it down and completely start over and rebuild something that is different? By design, it is different, right? And a thought process for that would be, maybe your buyer consultation is the same as everybody as an agent. Your buyer consultation is the same as everybody else's, or
and
your lead intake process.
It could be the same because that's how you were taught, right?
Yeah, because everybody's taught a blanket, hey, here's how to do it. Here's a successful blueprint for doing it.
Yep.
But once everybody starts taking that blueprint, it starts to blend in.
Sure, and you got all the ideas, and you know what the outcome is. But to tear that down and just to start from new, you already know now the skill. Right? When you're taught, they teach you that so you know all those skills. But now you know all those skills, so rip it down, start over, be creative.
Yeah, what do I want the customer to feel? Right? Is the way I look at that when I'm doing it. And I've started rebuilding down a lot of tearing down and rebuilding processes that are all with that in mind. How do I want the customer to feel at the end of that experience, at the end of that interaction, versus what information do I want to deliver to them? Right? Because the information is going to be pretty much similar in most people's buyer consultation or lead intake or whatever. It's going to be very, very similar. So that's the DNA that most people are going to have. But if you tear it down and say, okay, how do I invoke a feeling in it? How do I make them leave there thinking, man, I feel really heard and seen, and
it's good.
A warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yep.
Right?
I like it.
Last but not least, number 3, fulfillment allows authenticity. So aligned action equals lasting pride. So when you create something that is yours, you're going to be way more proud of it than implementing something that somebody else does. So I know that seems a little weird because we're on here on a podcast talking to how to help people build big businesses and live big lives. So we're not just giving you one blueprint, right? Because then it's not yours. Right. So I think this episode's unique because it does go against the grain. It does talk about go and create something that is your own and take some frameworks of other people, but make something that is patently yours that you can be really, really proud of. You can get monomaniacal about it and just think how do I make this so unique to me? And that's where you're going to be obsessed with the details to a point where when you implement that, you're going to be so proud of it. And that pride shows.
Yeah, because you enjoy it.
And your customers are going to feel it.
I think about you a lot, actually, when you say this, because, and I know the initial thought came from the book, Unreasonable Hospitalities, but when you read that book, Chad, it changed you. And this is where I could see you tearing everything down and recreating it.
Yeah.
And
100%.
wanting to really have an impact and change. If I'm gonna be spending this time with this client or this referral partner or whatever, what's the impact that we're gonna have in this time frame? Because it changed you, and you want impact in life in everything that you do because of that. And the book didn't, like, it's not an exact tells you how to do any of that, right? Like, it just gave you the start, the ideas behind it.
It lit the fire for sure, I would say. Like, it lit
100%.
the flame, and then we've been fanning it really hard since then and making it our own.
But you've been so much happier. You've been so much passionate, like back to loving everything, because we've done this a long time. So that one right there is like, I can see that living and breathing inside of you.
Absolutely. It's something I'm super, super proud of. I think that we are creating an experience that is unlike any other in the mortgage space.
Yep.
And like, I will take that to my grave. I truly believe that it's an experience that is unlike any other.
Yep.
And that's something that I can be really, really proud about. I hope my team can be really, really proud about. And it is something that, like, we all talk about.
Yep.
It's like, man, this is super fulfilling.
Yep.
Right. And it's hard to get super fulfillment and joy and everything out of using somebody else's blueprint that everybody else is using.
Yeah.
Right. That's great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, it's a perfect example.
Yeah. So, closing reflection, the road less traveled doesn't just make all the difference. It makes you different. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a good differentiation. Yes, it makes all the difference. Yes, it makes a difference to take the path less traveled, but it really does makes you different. It makes you stand out in a different way, yep. Right? So my call to action on this, I would just want to leave somebody a takeaway, like, okay, what can I do right now? We've given a couple already, like tear some stuff down, whatever. But the very easiest one is just take one off-road decision this week and make it, and then share it. I'd love to hear about it. We'd love to hear about it. If you could make one decision, make it your own, take a path less traveled, do it. Let us know. Share it.
Yeah, we'd love to hear it. We'd love to hear it. The one you said about think of one area where you're blending in. That's like, I'm thinking of tons. But I'm going to narrow one in. I'm going to text you this week, Chad.
All right. I'm going to hold you to it. I can't wait. All right. So just remember, guys, the crowd doesn't cheer for the one who followed the map. They cheer for the one who drew their own map.
Nice.
So go draw your own map.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time.